Coolant is an essential fluid in your engine, just like engine oil is. But I find that a lot of people neglect their cooling systems way more than they do their oil. I think a lot of DIYers don't totally understand or have misconceptions about the cooling system. And we all have that image in our head of opening the radiator cap and just getting blasted by boiling coolant. But the reality is, you've got to properly take care of the coolant system, or you can run into issues like overheating, blown head gaskets, or a totally ruined engine. In today's video, I'm going to go over the top coolant mistakes that people make, including maintenance mistakes, so you avoid blowing up your engine and your face. The first mistake people make is the one your dad always warned you about, one that'll get you in a lot of trouble. And that's if you take the coolant cap off or the radiator cap off when the engine is running and hot. So if you crack this cap, that's where it can get really dangerous, because boiling coolant and a lot of steam is going to come out of there and probably burn the heck out of you. Not pleasant on the moneymaker. Sometimes people aren't even meaning to take off their coolant cap. Maybe they're in here trying to refill their windshield washer fluid and they grab a hold of the wrong thing and loosen it. So the good thing is, most of the time, almost all the time, these high pressure coolant systems, either here or on a radiator cap system, are gonna have a big old warning. Don't touch it when it's hot. Don't open this when the engine's running, something like that. So just look at the cap label and make sure you're opening the right one. Even after you've turned the car off and the water pump's not running anymore, you still want to wait at least 20 minutes because that coolant is still hot inside the engine. If I am working on a car and I don't know how long it's been turned off, sometimes what I'll do is I'll just put my hand on top of the cap. And if it's too hot for me to touch, I know it's definitely too hot for me to open. The next mistake I see all the time, especially in hot climates like here in Hawaii, and that's when people take the hose, fill their engine up with hose water instead of coolant, and people think, well, it never freezes here, so I don't need antifreeze. I'm just gonna save money and use my hose. Well, here's the problem with that. The reality is, this is not just a liquid that freezes at a lower temperature than water. It also has chemicals and properties in it that, like it says, protects against rust and corrosion. So this protects the metal parts of your engine from essentially corroding. If you use tap water in your engine, what does water do to things like steel and iron and aluminum? It causes them to rust or oxidize, all bad stuff inside your engine. And if that sounds bad, well, you're right, it is bad, because you get enough rust, corrosion, particles floating around inside of your engine, it's going to start clogging up radiators, messing with your water pumps, and all of a sudden you have an overheated and blown engine. Another mistake people make is actually dumping their coolant in the wrong place in their engine. Now, we've done a lot of coolant related videos on this channel, and a lot of them are on cars with a radiator cap, like this. Now, if you have a radiator cap, you're also going to have a little hose that goes to a clear plastic bottle called an overflow tank. Now, many of you may not have that radiator cap system. Instead, you'll have one like this, a plastic bottle usually with a pressurized cap, one that's got that warning label we talked about. Now, if this is the system that you have right here, this mistake does not apply to you. Now, where people get in trouble with the radiator cap system is, you can see on this overflow bottle, it has a big word coolant on there. And as we talked about before, people get scared by this pressurized cap. So they think, I know, if my engine needs coolant, I'm gonna put it in this bottle labeled coolant. There's even high and low marks on that, and people freak out when it gets below. This bottle here is not designed to refill your cooling system. What it is designed to do is exactly what the name implies, is it's an overflow tank. So when your engine heats up and there's maybe too much coolant in the system, a little bit of it will escape and get caught in this tank. And likewise, after the car is shut down and the engine cools off, the radiator is able to suck a little bit of coolant in to keep itself topped off without introducing bubbles into the system. Another clue that this is true, this coolant bottle right here is probably like a quart in capacity, whereas the cooling system of this engine probably takes a gallon or a gallon and a half to fill it up. So there's no way I can fill up my engine cooling system just by putting it in here. These little lines right here, these high and low marks, it's just talking about the bottle. It has nothing to do with the high and low levels of your coolant system. The next mistake people make is putting the wrong type of coolant in their car. And I get it. You walk into the auto parts store and you're presented with hundreds of different options. I mean, different colors, different brands, universal, diluted or concentrate. But I'm going to simplify everything for you. At the end of the day, different engines are made differently with different kinds of metals. And the manufacturer, knowing how the engines are made, is going to recommend specific chemical compounds that will protect those engines the best. For example, if you look at this coolant, it says phosphate and nitrate free formula. And on this one that's made for Hyundais and Hyundais, it's a silicate and borate free formula. So you got to match the chemical with the car. It doesn't really matter what color it is. It doesn't matter what brand it is. It's all about the chemicals. Now, for those of you that don't know what coolant is in your car right now, maybe you just bought the car or someone did a service and you don't know what they put in there. If you need to top off that system, you don't want to just go out and buy a gallon of coolant and start topping it off, even if you're using the right kind, because in the off chance that the wrong type of coolant is in your radiator, mixing the two could be a problem. Now, back in the day, 90s, early 2000s, mixing two different chemical coolants together sometimes created these sludgy messes that destroyed engines. Nowadays, that's not going to happen to your engine, but mixing coolant types could reduce their effectiveness and reduce their lifespan. So if you absolutely have to, top off your coolant with whatever to get home, it's not going to be a problem. But what you really want to do ultimately is drain everything out of your system and put the right stuff in. So here's the deal with the universal coolant. It's a blend that's designed to not negatively react with any engine type specifically. But adding it to a system of vehicle-specific coolant actually reduces that coolant's life. Also, it's just not going to do as good a job at protecting the metal of your engine when it's not designed for that engine. So in a way, it's kind of like a neutered fluid. Like you can use it to top off in a pinch, but I would never fill an entire coolant system with universal. Hey guys, we love making these videos and helping you guys save money by fixing your own cars. Now we're going to continue doing this, but the one thing that would help us out the most is if you subscribe to the channel, and if you can, hit that alert button. It really helps us out, and we really appreciate it. Another really common mistake I see a lot of car owners make is simply just not replacing their coolant. I guess they look at the bottle here and they say, well, I've got enough, should be good to go. Thing is, coolant doesn't last forever. It breaks down and it stops doing what it's supposed to do. If you never ever replace your engine coolant, it's eventually going to stop protecting your engine from rust and corrosion, and it's going to stop resisting overheating as well. Now, when it comes to the interval on when you should change your coolant, most of the modern coolants like this one usually guarantee 5 years or 150,000 miles, which is a good long time. But that again is just assuming that it wasn't mixed improperly with something else and that it was done right. So again, if you just bought the car or you don't know what's in there or how long it's been in there, it's just worth spending the 30 bucks and putting all brand new fluid in. Now there's some coolants out there that offer lifetime protection, like they never have to be changed at all. I'm not a huge fan of. I don't think lifetime products are real, whether they're coolant or transmission fluid or otherwise. Now, one exception to be aware of is if you have a Ford or an old GM pre-2000s, often it will call for the old conventional green coolant, which only lasts 2 years or 30,000 miles. Now, oftentimes those cars can be upgraded to the DexCool system, which has a much longer life, but you just need to be aware that the system would have to be completely flushed of the old green before updating to DexCool. Another mistake I see people make is when they have a leak in their coolant system, they go to the auto parts store and they shell out money for what I would call snake oil stop leak products. So these are products that they dump into your radiator or coolant, and it literally puts in a material that floats around, supposed to get stuck in the leak and then harden there. In theory it works, but I've seen so many problems caused by stop leak products like this, specifically in jamming up your radiator. The other thing that I have a problem with is that there are parts of your coolant system, specifically rubber hoses, water pumps, that when they start leaking, you can't seal them back up with a product. Like, you just got to replace them properly. So if I were you, I would avoid stop leak products and I would fix the source of the problem. Now, one exception might be the Blue Devil head gasket sealer, because it's been around a really long time, it's not cheap, and it's addressing a deep internal leak that you would have to tear apart half your engine to fix anyway. The number one biggest mistake that people make with their cooling systems isn't under the hood, it's right here on your dash. This little temperature gauge on your dash is designed to let you know when your engine is starting to get too hot. And I will say that the majority of catastrophic engine overheating and failures could have been avoided if the driver saw that the engine was getting too hot and turned the car off. Now, I'm not just talking about a one-off looking at your temperature gauge when you drive. I'm talking it needs to be a habit that you get used to always checking that temperature gauge when you're driving so that you know what the normal condition is. Because every car is a little bit different where that needle's going to lay on the scale. So once you make a habit of it, you know where it's supposed to be, so that when it starts to edge hotter, immediately you notice that something's wrong and you can address the problem before it wrecks your car. Now, some cars don't have actual gauges on the dash anymore, which I think is really dumb. But what they will have is what we call a dummy light. So it's a warning light that comes on when essentially when the needle has gotten to the H or overheated. So if you don't have a gauge, at the very least, when you first start up your car, all the dash lights will come on and you can find where that dummy light is and at least familiarize yourself with where it is on the dash. So if it does come on, you know where it is and it'll catch your eye right away. The next mistake happens when people are flushing or totally replacing the coolant in their system, and it's not properly getting all the air out of the system after the first fill. Because as you can imagine, air doesn't do a good enough job cooling your engine down. When I'm working on coolant systems, oftentimes I will fill it up till it's totally full, then run the engine, and when I let it cool down and I go to fill it again, I can get even up to a gallon more into the system after that first warm up. And the reason for this is when you have a totally empty system and then you dump a whole bunch of coolant in, big pockets of air get trapped in the lines or in the engine itself. I've had many people tell me that they just replaced their fluid with brand new stuff and now their car's overheating for some reason. Well, it's probably because they just put that cap on and drove away and their car's now running at half capacity and gets hot. In some cases, you might actually have to do this process 3 or 4 times before you get all the air out. Or what we used to do, it's called burping, where you'd actually park the car on a little slope, nose up, and you'd run the car without the radiator cap for a while to let the water pump work out all those bubbles. Hey, I hope this was helpful. And if you want to take a deeper dive into why your car's overheating, you're going to want to check out this video we made on all the reasons a car overheats and how to diagnose it. See you next time.